Welcome back to the big show in Las Vegas, talking to the most talented stars and the most impressive stars, and of course the most gorgeous stars. Holly Madison, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm all right. I've just sat through your show and I've got a bit of a problem. I don't want to be negative about it, but can I be honest?
Yes.
What it is, I'm a deeply unattractive man, verging on clinic obesity, and I've just come away feeling inadequate. The guys make me feel ridiculous, and I know I'm never going to get a date with somebody as gorgeous as you.
That's not true.
It's not going to happen though, is it?
Well, you never know.
How are you? We've just seen this show called Peep Show, which is an adult show, really. But it's fun, and it's done in a really modern way, because let's face it, a lot of the shows in the same ilk are a bit trashy, aren't they?
Right. There's a lot of shows in Vegas that are either really dated or just aren't very classy, and I think Vegas needs a show like Peep Show because it's the only burlesque show here that's really modern and large scale and something that men and women enjoy.
It's an interesting show because it stars you. Yeah, there's several stars in it. There's singers and there's dancers, and everybody seems to be different, which is nice. They must have done that deliberately.
Yeah, absolutely. The director, Jerry Mitchell, had a very specific vision. He works a lot on Broadway, so the original cast who came out and originated all these roles were from Broadway. They're very talented triple threat actors, singer, dancers. And since then, we've rotated the roles, and it's a lot more local Vegas people. But he did want a lot of variety in the looks, not the same exact chorus girl type of thing.
Is it tough being you? Because I roll out of bed in the morning and nobody's looking at me to be perfect. They are looking at you to be perfect, aren't they?
Well, not always. I think sometimes people like you a little bit better, especially if you have a reality show, if you can show that other side of you, the just rolled out of bed, looking awful type of thing. So it goes hand in hand. You have to show both sides.
Let's talk about you for those who don't know, because you're a big star over here. As you mentioned there, you're from the reality brand, but it's made you the lady it has, and it's interesting how so many just fall by the wayside and go. You've managed to make a huge career out of it. Why is that possible?
I don't know. I think it's just because I'm interested in a lot of different things. I don't take my character too seriously, and I like to have fun with it. I'm not, somebody who landed on a random show like The Hills and now I want to be a big actress. It's not like that. I want to try a lot of different things that I've always wanted to do. For example, this, ever since I saw Dita Von Teese, I wanted to do something like this, some kind of burlesque show, and I love it.
What do you think makes you stick out? I mean, you've obviously got all the right assets in the right places. Is it the fact that you've got a personality? Because often the girls really don't have anything to say, do they?
Well, I think I was lucky to land on a show like The Girls Next Door that was done well and done in a way that made the three main female characters relatable and people that the audience liked to watch. So I'm lucky in that respect, but I see a lot of people make it who don't seem to have a lot of personality too, so I'm not sure that's the question, if that's the answer, sorry. I don't know. I think I'm just lucky to have been able to do what I've done so far.
You're all over Vegas and your face is everywhere. Does that ever become normal?
No, I definitely don't get jaded about it. I still get really excited anytime I see a taxi cab go by with my poster on it. I really appreciate it. It's really nice.
What about living in Vegas? Is it as fun as it appears?
Yeah, it's absolutely fun. I came from LA. I lived there for 10 years, and that's a very big city, and it's a very spread out city, and a city with a lot of class differences, I would say. And here in Vegas, once you get to know the locals, it's just like a small town, and everybody knows each other. Even though there's tons of tourists filing in every day, amongst the locals, everybody kind of knows one another, and it's like a small town, but with everything fun that you could find to do in a big city, so it's a really special place.
It's interesting watching you after the show because you do a signing for those who want to meet you and take a picture. A lot of stars would poo-poo that and be straight off in their limo back home. Why do you want to give time for the punters?
For the what?
The punters. Have you never heard that word?
No, that's not an American term. What does that
punters?
mean?
Well, it comes from the pubs, really, you see. The punters go and have the drinks. Well, the punters come and see you here.
Oh, that's funny. Well, originally I signed on to do it just to support the show and help the show, and it's nice to meet fans and things like that. But I also find I run into them all the time in the hotel, too, so either way, even if I stopped doing the meet and greets, I'd still run into tons of people daily and take pictures, so...
I spoke to Mel B about a year ago when she was in this show, and she lived in the hotel. Are you living here?
Yeah, I have a suite here. I just bought a house here in Vegas, too, but I also have a suite here at Planet Hollywood that I like a lot, and I have a roommate that lives with me in one of the bedrooms in the suite.
How does that work, then? Some nights you stay here, sometimes you go home?
My house isn't fully furnished yet. I spend some time there. The dogs love it because there's a yard and whatnot, but being in the hotel is very easy, too, especially filming a reality show. It's nice to have a home base that's really close by with the show.
Help me with how you put together a reality show. Are you forever creating stuff, or does all that stuff really happen?
Well, we start out knowing which months we're going to film. I meet with the other producers and talk about kind of what we have planned. We build stories around things we're going to do anyway. So it is very real, but you do have to anticipate what's going to happen so you get a story. And then also the cameras and the field producers have to be aware of what's going on, because oftentimes the best drama is things that just erupt around the activities you're doing that you don't expect.
Is it a bit like selling your soul to the devil? I mean, are they taping everything, or are there points where you can say, no, I've had enough?
I think at this point there's not really anything I would turn the cameras away from that had to do with me personally. I mean, maybe other characters or whatnot might not feel that way, but I've been on reality shows for like 5 years, so I kind of feel like everything's an open book. I'm not really shy anymore.
It's interesting you use the word character. That implies it's not really you.
Oh, no, I meant other cast members. Like other people who are regulars on the show or might be more or less comfortable than I am.
But even to be cast members, it implies there's some form of theatre there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for people to really follow the type of reality show I'm doing, which is quite similar to Girls Next Door, you have to have characters that people relate to. And I selected a few of my friends to participate in the pilot, and the people at the network really like them. So care is taken definitely to feature those people. That way everyone who watches the show has somebody to relate to. So there's definitely a lot of planning and a lot of producing that goes into a reality show, no matter how real you try to keep it. And we do try and keep it real.
I think the British equivalent to you is Katie Price, who's a multi-millionaire and made her name off being gorgeous and selling her life, basically, in the same way you have with the reality show.
I wish I was as fertile as she is. Damn. She's like popped out how many kids now?
She seems to get herself back in shape, though. It's interesting.
I know. She looks great.
It's interesting when I see her, and we're not picking out curtains or anything. We know each other relatively well, and I kind of feel sorry for her because she's hounded. Because she opens herself up, they never leave her alone. That's kind of the agreement, isn't it? That you sell yourself to the devil, and then people can come knocking any time of the day.
A bit, but here in Vegas, we don't really have the same type of paparazzi that you do in London or even LA. There really isn't paparazzi just running around here. There's photographers that show up to events, and I pretty much know them all, but it's really different here. I mean, it's more like running into fans in the casino.
It's surprising. I would think that there would be more paparazzi here because there are more stars here. It's curious.
You would think, but there just really isn't. It's more like, celebrities come and go every day of the week here, but it's more like people in Vegas want to draw celebrities here, and they want them to be able to have a good time and not really feel personally invaded. I mean, look what Tiger Woods got away with for so many years. So photographers show up at a club, and the club photographers will always ask, are you okay with having your photo taken, and things like that. So knock on wood, it's still a place where people can come and kind of have a private life.
You must have so many stories. I mean, we hear there about Tiger Woods, and we've all read what's happened there. You must know so much stuff that you can't tell me.
Probably.
Well, you know what they say, what happens in Vegas
stays in Vegas.
Well, it ends up on Facebook normally, doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Are you out every night, or do you live like a nun? Do you kind of do this outrageous show and then go home?
Well, you really have to pick and choose your nights when you live in Vegas. Otherwise, you'd completely tire yourself out. Every night of the week I have friends coming in from different parts of town, and I have to disappoint some of them and not be a party animal and come out every night because I'd be a mess. I'd never get anything done. I usually go out maybe once or twice a week.
And how hard is it keeping the physique? Because this place is known for restaurants and buffets. Eat as much as you like. You can't eat as much as you like, can you?
No, the food here is amazing. And I eat healthy half the time and I eat junky half the time. But I just really keep myself in check because being half naked on stage, you really, you notice your fluctuations day by day. So if you've had a couple bad days, you go on 3 more good days.
I don't know about half naked. I mean, 98% naked.
Yeah, pretty much.
You get to see everything. Does it ever freak you out? I mean, I don't even show my arms in public. I have total phobia of all that kind of stuff. When you're stood there and inches away from your audience who are looking you up and down, is that a bit odd?
Kind of. I definitely have my mind more on what pose my body's in rather than how good of a dancer I'm being.
Good luck with this show. I mean, it's doing gangbusters and selling out every night, which is tremendous because there's a lot of choice, isn't there, in Vegas? And this seems to have got an edge. It's found its market, which is nice. I mean, Planet Hollywood's cool anyway, but with the music and the band and the singers, it really is a one-off show.
Yeah, it's really special, really unique. There's really nothing like it here, and I think as word continues to get out, it'll do even better and better.
What's more important for you, the reality stuff or the theatre stuff?
Well, they really interconnect with each other. It's the reality show gives me a lot of exposure, and hopefully it continues to be successful. And that's the kind of thing that will draw audiences to come to Peep Show. Peep Show's a little closer to my heart because it's something I do every day, and I work on. I mean, I love my crew from the reality show too, but I know they have other projects and everything. Whereas with Peep Show, if it doesn't do well, or if I drop the ball and don't do well, then that costs a lot of people their jobs. So, I mean, Peep Show's more important, but then again, the reality show has to be just as big a priority because that's what exposes me to the public, and that's what makes people want to come see me in the show.
What I love about you and Katie and people like you, there aren't really many left, but you're very smart. You come across as all ditzy and it's all about the boobs and the hair and the makeup, but you're very, very cunning in your business plan, aren't you? Because at the end of the day, you're a businesswoman making all this happen.
Yeah, I have to be. I mean, it's very competitive, even on even the channel I'm on, you know. I don't want to say competing with Kendrick. She's like one of my best friends, but her show does very well, and the Kardashian show does very well. So I'm not competing with them. I'm trying to add to, but you definitely have to stay competitive and make sure your show is as interesting and as good and does just as well because they have other good shows too. So you got to hold your own. And I met Katie once a long time ago, and I was very surprised by her. She's much more calm and sweet than anyone would think.
Very finely, we mentioned at the beginning that I'm deeply unattractive, ginger, clinically obese. Just for total clarification, there's no way I could ever get a date with somebody as gorgeous as you, is there?
I just don't have a lot of time to date, but you know what? You never know.
But the answer was no, wasn't it, really?
No, you never know. I dated that gnome over there.
Hallie Madison, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Lovely, that's brilliant.